Just want to say hello to everybody who's watching. Yeah, I just want to share a little bit about my life and the background I come from and the way I've lived basically all my life. I've like I said, I've got 3 sisters. They was all heroin addicts. My brother was a heroin addict. He killed himself 2.5 years ago. God love him. My dad was a drinker, so my mum was a drinker and all. He'd come back, beat my mum. So we got dragged up. We got really dragged up from council house to caravan sites. So my dad's a travelling man, so I'm half a traveller. So we got dragged up every part of the country, really, all around Manchester, different caravan sites. So seen a lot of bad things happen as kids, people coming back with machetes and cutting people up and stabbing each other. Seen a lot of violence going on as kids. So basically, I understand now in life the way the devil works. It's the devil's job in life to work through your mum and dad to make our hearts black. So God's given me wisdom now so I can explain things. So when God created us, He give me and my brothers and sisters a brand new heart that was full of life and full of joy. And it's the devil's job to make that heart black. So what He done, He worked through my mum and dad, bad things going on as kids. So every time we kept seeing things as little kids, little black bit kept sticking to the heart. So then when we all got to a certain age, we all was robbing, stealing, selling drugs, you name it, we was doing it to cover the pain over. Then the devil had his way. Then he just ticked the box. He's moved on to the next family. That's how he operates. But when so I understand things now because God's been making things clearer to me. So He's been teaching me. But what happened to me all my life, I never knew anything about God. Every single time I was ever in a bad situation, my dad beat me, mum, or bad things going on, I'd always ask God to help me. Please, God, help me. Please, God, help me. I always used to have rosary beads, and I'd always rub the cross. So I didn't understand peace. I never had it. I thought by buying a fancy house or material things, I'd get the peace, but I never had it. I never understood peace. I never understood pure love in my heart. I didn't understand it. I'd never experienced it. So what happened to me, there was a lad who come to my house it was over 10 years ago now. It might be a little bit more. But he come to my house one day. It was like a lad who used to go off drinking with partying and whatever we was doing with each other in the world. And he come one day with a lad called Jimmy Boswell, who's a Christian lad from Blackpool. He's been saved now for about 22 years, a pastor now. And he just pulled up outside the house one day and he just walked in and he went, PJ, I said, I've turned a born again Christian. I looked at him and I was in stitches laughing. I had a pain in my belly. I just couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was so funny. But looking back now, I was an hypocrite because every single time I was dying of cocaine in bed, I'd always go, I used to get up in the morning, I used to go, please God, get me out of this routine. I knew it was making me be a bad dad. I knew it was ruining my relationship, but I didn't have anything inside me. So now I understand it. This cup was inside of me. This was my spirit, and the spirit was empty. And I was trying to fill the spirit with material things, but it was empty. Now I understand only God fills that up. Only God gives you the power to say no to drugs, say no to dodgy money. Only God fills that cup up when you repent. So now I understand it all now. Glory to God. So what happened when my friend come that day and planted the seed? I laughed at him. So when he left the house, about 10 years later, about a couple of years after when he come to my house, I got 17 years for a £3.1 billion conspiracy. I got done for 36 ton, 90% of England. They're saying we were supplying the full country with cutting agents to cut cocaine. Millions of pounds got found, £2 million in cash, 700,000 somewhere else. It was a massive case. They made a documentary on Crime Watch about it. So that was a case what I got done for. But I never understood about peace. I didn't understand when it says in the Bible, the God of this age has blinded the minds of the unbeliever. That was me. That veil was over me. Couldn't see black from white. I could just see one way, the devil's way, and that was it. So when he come that day and planted that seed, maybe a year or two after that, I got 17 years. So I'm in jail for about 5 or 6 years, and I'm going for my proceeds of crime. So when I was going for my proceeds of crime, the solicitor said they're trying to give you another 5 years on top of your 17 years. So I walked into the cell in the Crown Court, and I'm doing laps up and down the cell, and I'm crying in the cell. I'm going, please, God, I'm begging you, God, help me. So I'm asking God to help me now. 5 or 6 years in prison, I've never once gone to a Christian service, but I'm asking God to help me. Never knew Jesus died on the cross, but always used to ask God for help. Always had rosary beads in the cell all the way through my sentence, but never knew Jesus died on the cross, but always used to ask God for help. But when I was in that cell that day, I have never felt as bad as I felt that day in that cell. It was the worst I've ever felt in my life in that cell that day. And when I was crying for God to help me in that cell that day, I was sick to the stomach in the cell. I can't explain that. I've never felt that way. I didn't even feel that bad way when I was a kid, when I seen all them things going on as a child. I never felt that way. I didn't understand it. But when I was asking God to help me in that cell that day, I didn't think anything of it. I walked up to court, I didn't get the extra 5 years. But when I was going on the back of the sweatband, I was just saying in my mind, I went, thank God I didn't get that extra 5 years. It would have killed me ringing my daughter up saying I've just got another 5 years being away from her. Because all the way through the sentence, I didn't have any money to send her, get her a birthday present or anything. I had to keep ringing around asking people. But I was so grateful on the way back to the prison, thanking God. So this is how it all happened for me. The next day, I'm sat on the wing the next day and I'm looking at the telephone outside me. But as I'm looking at the telephone, I start to get emotional. I thought, I might be getting on that phone this morning, ringing my daughter up, and my mum saying I've just got another 5 years on top of the 17 years. Then I went, you know, yesterday when I asked God for help, I'm so grateful I didn't get that jail. I'm going to go to that church this week. God put it in my mind to go to that church. And I walked to the church and I sat at the back that Sunday and I was looking at the people praying for people. And I thought, do you know what it is? I want to go and get prayed for. And I walked to the front, never forget it. I shook my two arms like that. And she put her hand on top of my side. She went full PG, full of the Holy Spirit. But I can remember it because I was rocking back and sides and I was thinking in my mind, I feel like I'm on a cloud here. This is where I was just going like that. So I started to go every week then. And I started to get peace out of it. I thought, I'm liking this. I used to just sneak off the wing because all the lads in the wing, I wouldn't tell them I was going to church. So I'd just sneak off the wing and I'd go to the church. I put my name down and I'd go every Sunday. But when I started to go every week, then I started to get peace, inner peace, what I've never had before. I didn't experience it. So I started to go after a few weeks then. And as I started to go after a few weeks, God put it in my mind again. He said, PJ, I said, I want you to ring your friend up who come to your house 10 years ago. So God put it in my mind to ring my friend up who come and planted that seed all them years ago. Do you know Paddy? The lad who come and planted that seed. So when I started going to the service in the jail, Paddy, God put it in my mind to ring Paddy up. So when I rung Paddy up that day, I got Paddy's number. I haven't spoke to Paddy in 10 years. I've never rung him. I wasn't around people he was around. I was never come in my mind to ring him. But God put it in my mind to ring Paddy up. And when I rung him that day, I said, I understand, Paddy, why you've accepted Jesus Christ into your life. I understand it. It's all the pain he takes out of your life and all the happiness and joy and peace and love he puts and fire he puts back in your heart. So when all this started happening to me in jail, my eyes used to be black and I'm around telling everybody about Jesus. I'm doing it, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just so excited. I was just telling everybody about Jesus. But when I rung him that day and I said, Paddy, like I just said to you then, but he booked a visit then to come and see me afterwards. And he said to me, do you know when you rung me that day, PJ? I said, I haven't spoken to you in about 10 years. Do you know where I was? I was on my hands and knees praying to Jesus, saying, why am I going through these trials, Lord? My wife's left me for another man. Why am I going through these trials, Lord? As he said that, as he was saying that prayer, I rung his phone. I went, Paddy, is this you, Paddy? It's me, PJ. I understand why you've accepted Jesus Christ into your life. But when he come up and explained it to me, he said, you know when you rung me that day, I'll tell you the situation what I was in. I was in a caravan site in Doncaster, and I'm in the caravan. And my mind was all over the place. And I thought, I want to go and pray to the Lord. But I can't pray in the caravan, because if I pray in the caravan, people are going to come around. So I walked out the caravan, walked down this little road, and I walked into a field under a tree I was. And I was just there out of the way, so I couldn't get disturbed. And the mobile phone was at the side of me. And as I was praying, the phone rung. And as I just looked at the number, and I thought, it's a Leeds number, that. I said, I don't know anybody in Leeds. And then I picked the phone up, I picked the phone up. That's what God done that day. But what happened to me then, I just started to go into the church. I got baptized in the jail. But when I got baptized in this jail, I'm around this BCAT prison. But they've known me in this prison for about 6 years. I'm around the wings. I had the red band. I worked in the chapel, got the chaplain job, and I'm around everywhere. I'm telling every single person about Jesus Christ. All the lads are on spice. They're all banged up lads who's on drugs, and they can't get out because they're carrying on in the jail. So I'm around evangelizing to them. They're accepting Jesus into life. We got 64 people to the service the week before I went. Everybody was coming. Everybody was coming. And that's it. That's it, because I've never had this fire before. And I just keep it going all the time because I love the Lord. And I'm going to tell every single person in the world what Jesus Christ has done for me. I'm going to travel to every single church in England. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to travel to every single church in England to share my testimony, because I'm not bearing it, because I learned something one day in the Bible. Because I've got a learning disability. I can't read a 2-year-old child's book. And so the lad who come to my house, Jimmy, he sent me the Bible in an audio. So I'm watching this Bible constantly all the time. I'm watching it. I'm learning more. But I learned something one day, and it was about the free servants. 2 of the servants got the money, and doubled it, and the third servant got money, buried it. But I was watching that for I think about a year and a half. I didn't understand what it meant. But I went to the DCAT and I started working in an open jail. But when I went to the open jail, there was somebody preaching about it, and God revealed it to me what it meant. And that's me with my faith. I'm not being that servant who buries it. I'm telling the full world. And if any fear comes around me, get behind me in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I'm here to glorify God's name. I understand what's going on around us. There's a spiritual force going on around us, trying to stop me and trying to put fear in around me. But glory to Jesus now, I know how to deal with it. I know how to deal with it. I've had my trial since I've been out of jail. But I've had my mate dropped me some trainers off the other day when I got out of jail. A mate of mine, he worked in that. A lad rung his phone up. He's up to no good. He said, I've got £1,000 here for you. I said, I don't take Satan's money. Give Jesus the glory for giving me the strength. I got out of jail with £64 to my name. £64. I was on a pedal bike. My mate dropped me a bike off. I've been around Blackpool, Fleetwood, evangelising, planting the seeds, telling people about Lord. There's been loads of people accepting the Lord into life. So I'm learning how to get the Spirit to lead me. Getting the Spirit to lead me and getting the Lord to lead me where he is. And then also I'm learning how to be getting the right stuff put into my head. Because now I'm going on my walk towards the Lord. I don't want to be getting wrong stuff going into my head and 5 years down the line thinking, oh, I've been getting the wrong stuff and need to be making sure I'm getting fed the right stuff. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Just evangelizing, keep planting the seeds. But isn't it an amazing feeling knowing when we shut our eyes, we know exactly where we're going. We know exactly where we're going. I look around and I see people around and they're just lost. And I've come for the lost sheep. And Jesus says, if you truly love me, feed my sheep. And the sheep will listen to my voice. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm here to glorify Jesus' name. Not for me, but where I'm blessed now when I give God the glory for it. The way the devil has manipulated my brain as a child, broke me and my sisters and brothers down. I'm using it all back against him now because he's given me the knowledge. It's like I've been in college for 40 years. But I'm going to tell you what the Lord's done in my one of my sisters was on heroin for 12 years. I prayed for her. She's been off it now for about 8 months. So God's been moving in my family. The other couple of sisters are still on drugs. They're still fighting away with it. The enemies are still niggling away with it. But basically what it's done for me, God has blessed me so much since I've been out of jail. Because what happened when I got out of jail, I want everybody to be feeling like this. So I'm trying to push it on people too much. Now looking back, because I want everyone to know why they're not feeling, but God's been telling me, PJ, this is the way, like when Paddy dropped the seed all them years ago, 10 years later, it happened for you. So all you want you to do is just let people see and the way you live, not out your mouth, in your actions, just the way you live. That's my testimony now, to see people the way I'm living. So I'm learning every day, and just keep growing and just having my own independent relationship with the Lord, because that's what it is, isn't it? And I'll tell you what the Lord done for me one day. I'm going to tell you a few things now, what God's done in my life. And when I tell you now, this is what he done. When Jesus come into my life and all the pain went out of my life, my head fell off. I needed to know more about Jesus. So in the jail, you can only get £25 a week on your canteen. So I couldn't get any canteen. I had to save up for 4 weeks. I needed a stereo badly. So I saved up for a stereo, so it's got a CD player in it. But on the CD player, it's got a tape player in it. But the tape player, the CD on it. So every night I'm coming back to the jail, I'm listening to the CD player, I'm listening to Jesus and the Bible. I can't get enough of it. I'm craving milk. I can't get enough of it. Like if you're a child and you're so excited, like if you've got a new toy, you just want to keep playing. That's the way I'm feeling. So I'm listening to the CD and feeding myself. So I come back to the jail one day. The CD player's broke. I didn't tell anybody in the jail my CD player broke. Only me and God knew the CD player. I didn't tell nobody outside. Nobody knew about it. I'm driving back from jail one day and God put it in my mind to go into this church. And as I went into the church, I told them I was from an open prison. I told them my name and that. But when God put it into my mind, I went and done it. I listened to what he told me to do. I went in the church and I told them exactly, I'm from Kirkham. And that's all I said to him. I didn't tell him my stereo broke. Didn't tell him that to show me testimony from this open prison. I went into the jail the week after and I walked into the chapel. And the woman said to me in the chapel, she said, a week ago, PJ, you was in a church a week ago, and the chaplain told me to give you this. They gave me the Bible on tape. Give me the Bible on tape. So only God knew. I didn't tell nobody. He does loads of things all the time. I come out of the jail one day and needed a jacket, but I didn't ask anybody for the money for the jacket. The only people knew was me and God. Nobody knew about this jacket, but I needed a coat. I come out of the open jail. I went to a church. I'm sat at the back of this church and praying. And a man come over to me at the end. He went, PJ said, God just put something in my heart. I put my hand out. He had something rolled up. I put it in my pocket. And when I got in the car, it was 60 quid. And when I got myself a jacket out the Sports Direct, it was on a sale for 55 quid. Yeah, so that's what the Lord's been doing. And that's what the Lord, but a man said something once to me in a church when I got out. And when he said it to me, it's really stuck in my head. And he said something once to me, and it's never gone out my head. He says, don't let the fire go out, PJ. And I didn't know what he meant by it. And that's why I keep the Lord centre now. I keep him centre all the way. I don't put him to the left. There's two things what the Lord learnt me, what that's just stuck in there. I was listening to an American preacher once in a church in Crossgate Church. And he said this once, and it stuck in my head. And he says, the day you get the Lord and put him to the left and the right, everything collapses. And that stuck centre in my head. So thank God for that coming in my head. And that other man in the other church, he says, do not let the fire go out. But I understand it's about the love. I can go and do 1,000 good deeds. But if I've got no love for other people, it's not worth 2 pence. And I've got faith and I believe. I got faith and I believe. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm telling the full world what Jesus Christ done in my life. Because if your arm's broken, somebody does that and your hand fixes, you'd believe. That's the way I used to be. So God repaired me inside. That's why I'm the way I am. I love the Lord. Anywhere I can be used, anywhere I can speak about the Lord, that's where I want to be used. That's where I want to be used. Yeah.
PJ, thank you very much. That's very, very good.